Hey there, and welcome back. So one of the big things that I did last year was create ArtisanPack UI. But what is ArtisanPack UI, you might be asking? How did it get started? What is the goal of it? Well, good news for you, because that's what I'm here to do today. We're going to talk about why I got started building ArtisanPack UI and all the packages that it contains, and we'll dive into the keystone package of it all, the Livewire UI Components package. So without delay, let's get started. So the real story of ArtisanPack UI starts off about this time last year. I was really deep into creating sort of the first iteration, test iteration of Digital Shopfront CMS. Originally, I was using Tailgrid's components for like the UI design for the back end. But then after a while, and after being in the Laravel community for a bit, I discovered Flux UI by Caleb Porzio, and I really liked what he was doing and how it all looked. And so, of course, I bought the sort of all access package. I really enjoyed creating it. It was easy to use. It was fairly easy to customize. There were a few things that were tricky. This was also before any of these AI tools really took off, so a lot of it was being done by hand. And I was able to create a nice, neat, and clean UI for what I had built so far with Digital Shopfront. I had created the dashboard, settings, users and roles pages, a media library even. Everything seemed like it was headed toward greatness. But as I continued working on Digital Shopfront CMS, I realized that there was a bit of a problem. The big issue was the license for Flux UI wasn't compatible with what I was doing. The license was good for, creating single apps or single websites, but at least to me, it didn't seem like it was compatible with creating a full-fledged CMS. And then I also realized that I had the same problem with Tailgrids. Yikes. And now I was in kind of a bit of a bind because I didn't want to find myself in trouble with licenses. And if you know me, I am fairly risk averse. So whether I liked it or not, it was time that I had to build something myself. But also at the same time, I was also building other packages for the Digital Shopfront CMS ecosystem. I was creating accessibility and security packages that would have been underneath sort of that umbrella. Plus, I had other packages like SEO and privacy and performance in mind already. And I was starting to wonder if it was really a good idea to have all those underneath sort of the Digital Shopfront CMS umbrella, or whether that was just restricting them. With all of that in mind, I figured it was a really good time to just sit down, stop, and think about what the best way forward would be for everything. And it was better to do that right then than wait for it to become a just jumbled mess down the road. The end result, as you might have guessed, was the creation of ArtisanPack UI. This would be a library of open source packages that would, primarily at the time be focused on helping Digital Shopfront CMS, but could be used by any Laravel app. The base packages I started with were the accessibility, security, and icons packages that I already built for Digital Shopfront. But I would also create a CMS framework package that would sort of be the back end or business logic for any CMS, including Digital Shopfront. And of course, the crown jewel of it all would be the Livewire UI Components package. Now, the real work began. So I obviously knew right away that the biggest piece of this whole ArtisanPack UI puzzle was going to be the Livewire UI Components package. After all, UI is in the name of ArtisanPack UI. The components really are the reason this whole thing exists in the first place. And while I was able to easily move the accessibility, security, and icons packages from the Digital Shopfront umbrella over to ArtisanPack UI, the real hard thing was going to be this Livewire UI Components package. And ArtisanPack UI really couldn't launch until that was complete. So the race was on. The main challenge I found for myself was just getting started. I knew that was going to be a very time-intensive task because I had to replace all those components that were in Flux UI and Tailgrids just on my own. And staring up at that mountain while I was on the ground floor or even sometimes feeling below ground level was just really daunting for me. I tried so many times with JetBrains' Junie and then with Gemini, just trying to get started, and I would start, I would get a couple days in, and then I just would not like it and just threw everything away. And to be really honest, I was starting to get to a point where I just felt like, am I really doing the right thing? Is this the right direction? Am I insane? That last one is still debatable. In short, I needed help, and I needed it fast. I found the solution to my problem in the form of Mary UI. This is an open source package of Livewire components, and it's also built off of Daisy UI, which is also an open source package. And upon further inspection, while it's a great package, no doubt, it also just didn't have everything I needed, and there were spots where I can improve on and create new components and really take it and make it my own, not just make it a fork of Mary UI. And I was able to do just that. I changed the name to ArtisanPack UI from Mary UI, but I made sure to keep credit where credit is due, especially to Robson Tenorio. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not, because it's just such a great package and it was a big help for me. And after making those changes to make it my own, I started building out new components like a calendar component, card variants for checkboxes and radio buttons, tag components, and more. It really was the boost that I needed to get started. And soon enough, I had a version 1.0 that I was ready to rock and roll with. Recently, I've also released a version 2.0 of the package. The main impetus of creating this new version, especially a 2.0 version, was the release of Livewire 4. Mainly because I really wanted to take full advantage of those features. Plus, it also introduces more control over like glass backgrounds, so you can make it more like the Apple's liquid glass UI if you wanted. And I switched out Chart.js, which Mary UI used, with Apex charts just so the charts can look better. I just personally find that Apex charts just visually look better and more modern than what Chart.js does. All told, it actually took me about a week and a half to get V 2.0 out, which, considering how long it took version 1.0 to get out, was a massive improvement. So what does the future of the Livewire UI Components package look like? Well, I think it looks pretty great in my opinion. There are more components that I would like to add, and I would also like to create different views for the calendar component that I have. Things like weekly and daily and maybe even hourly views. And I'm also trying to figure out how to create a Figma library similar to what Daisy UI has, so that I and anybody else who wants to can sort of use Figma to design their UIs that they can then build. But all told, the future is really pretty bright, and I'm really happy with how far it's come and where it can go in the future. I've definitely come a long way, and this package is well on its way to becoming the crown jewel for all of ArtisanPack UI. So that's it for today. What questions do you have about ArtisanPack UI and or the Livewire UI Components package? Be sure to leave them down in the comment section below. And to see more videos about Laravel, web design, web development, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. But that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.